let's do a little discussion here for a sec. I don't think for a second that humans will ever live on Mars. A few different reasons for that. If you have a look at NASA's website, NASA has this fantastic website. It's just amazing. You know, you can move Mars all around. You can see where all the orbiters are, where all the landers are, and you can click on them. And when you click on them, you can see all the pictures that they've taken in the previous days, and you know where they're going, where they've been, all that kind of fun stuff. It's actually phenomenal that we live in a time where we could just go on the internet and see the surface of another planet. I just find that absolutely mind-blowing. We're very lucky. There was a time not too long ago, if you were to go back 100 years from now, people that would live in 1925 could perhaps live their entire life and never even see above the clouds, you know, never even go on an airplane and know what's above the clouds. So for us to just like the few clicks of a mouse see the surface of another planet, like, and there are hundreds of thousands of pictures, if not millions of pictures of the surface of Mars, high resolution, super detailed pictures. It's unreal. It's actually insane that we can do that. Now, one thing is that we visited Mars with several robots. You know, I think probably in total there's maybe been, I think, about 10 robots landed on Mars, all testing the soil, all looking for the same thing, all looking for signs of life, drilling into rocks, taking soil samples, doing experiments on the surface of Mars, and to see if there is any life, whether that be microbial, bacteria, whatever. I mean, life on Earth it's pretty hard to find a place on Earth where life does not exist. Even if you go to the harshest climates on this planet, you will find life in some shape or form, whether it's, you know, it may be very primitive life, but there's life. There's perhaps bacteria, perhaps a type of fungi, or microbial life of some sort. I mean, even if on the very depths of the ocean, in these underwater volcanoes, there's still life there. And as a matter of fact, they've just discovered that there's a type of bacteria that is living inside the sarcophagus of the Chernobyl reactor that exploded, that scientists are now theorizing that type of fungus is feeding off the radiation. So life exists in every nook and cranny on this planet. Now, all of these robots that have been on Mars, they have been drilling and taking samples, and they have found nothing. Now, consider that for a second. All of these robots have been searching for decades and have done thousands of experiments and not found one single speck of life, not a single shred of life. That is profound. That is mind-blowing. I mean, think of that for a second. I mean, that planet, and if you go on the NASA website, you look at some of these pictures, it's a completely dead planet. It is a dead world. I mean, just think about that for a second. You're talking about a planet that doesn't have a shred of life on it. It's completely dead. I mean, life is such a hardy and persistent force of nature on this planet Earth, and yet it can't survive for a second on Mars, or has not developed on Mars. And I think, I mean, we're kind of getting into some philosophical territory, and I'm sure there's some, you know, people out there that have some particular religious beliefs that would deal with this topic, but I'm not religious myself. But I actually think that I think the Earth is special. I think the Earth is special. I know statistically there should be statistically other forms of life in the cosmos, but I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I think Earth is special. I think this is the only place that life exists, and you know, if we weren't the only place that life exists, I think we would have found that out, or we would have been visited by this point. But anyhow, that's what I kind of believe. And when I see Mars, when I see the surface of Mars, I see a planet that has water on it and has had water on it. And that's another thing about Mars, is that there's proof that at one point Mars was teeming with water and rivers and lakes and ocean, and life is just abundant in the ocean. And you know, these robots are searching these dried up ocean beds and finding Nothing. No signs of life. I mean, if you can have an entire ocean and not have a single bacteria, a single cellular organism, that's just crazy. You're talking about a completely inert and dead world, even though it had water on it. So I really believe that Earth is really just special. It's the only place I think that we find life in the cosmos. It's a pretty crazy thing to believe, but that's what I believe. I think we can search far and wide and we're not going to find it. So what that means, I don't know, but that's what I believe. And I think you should visit the NASA website, check out some of these pictures. It's a completely dead world. It's very interesting, super interesting. We're so lucky to live in a time where we can just look at those pictures. It's we're so lucky, we're so fortunate. So anyhow, what do you guys think about this? Maybe we can get a discussion going in the comments section here about Mars and life in the cosmos, in the solar system, whether or not you think it exists. If you think it doesn't exist, what are your thoughts? Because some of these pictures from Mars are, there's a term called astrophobia, which means that you're afraid of space and other worlds and stuff, and that's kind of like what I have. I mean, we live on this planet Earth. We're just so lucky, It's got air to breathe, food, abundant food, and just some little thoughts to consider there for this evening. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section.